So I hear a lot of guys sharing some Chip Kelly stories, so I figured I would share mine. So when Chip gets brought to the Eagles, I was a tight end. And they drafted Zach Ertz and they signed James Casey, and you obviously had Brent Selleck. The year before it was just me and Selleck, so obviously the tight end room got a little more crowded than it had been. And I wasn't getting many snaps, so Chip comes up with the idea to move me to linebacker, outside linebacker, edge rusher type guy. So after playing 3 years in the NFL as a tight end, moves me to outside linebacker. So I try to go to outside linebacker in OTAs. So during OTAs, I do a couple practices, and I'm trying to pass rush Lane Johnson and Jason Peters, and I'm like, man, why am I trying to kill myself being a outside linebacker when I think I could play tight end in this league still? And I inquired, and there was teams that would sign me as a tight end if I was a free agent. So for me, I thought it'd be best if the Eagles released me and I could go play tight end somewhere. Obviously, I wasn't in the plans as a tight end. So Chip had an open door policy. So I went up to his office and I explained to him. I said, hey, I think it's best if you guys release me because I don't think I'm an outside linebacker, edge rusher. I think I want to play tight end, and I think it would be best. I don't want to cause any distractions. I just think if you guys let me go, I'm not going to be worth any value as an edge rusher anyways. So instead of just saying yes or no, Chip decides to pull up every tight end group in the league and tell me this team doesn't need a tight end, this team doesn't need a tight end, this team doesn't need a tight end, this team doesn't need a tight end. And he says, quote, what makes you think you can play tight end in this league? I said to him, I've played tight end in this league for 3 years before you became the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So then he goes on to tell me he's not going to release me, but he doesn't think I can make the team as a tight end. And I said, I don't want to play outside linebacker. So end up leaving the meeting with nothing resolved. And because he wouldn't move me back to tight end, I ended up skipping the next few OTA practices. Obviously wasn't a great thing, but they were voluntary. So after skipping a couple, he said, hey, we'll move you back to tight end, but this is obviously a tough position group to make. The thing I didn't want to be that guy that gets released, the final cuts, and then I'm trying to make an offense, figuring out an offense, learn an offense before you had 1 week back then before the start of a season. So they move me back to tight end. I don't play for the rest of OTAs. Training camp comes around. I have a good game against the Patriots. I had like 4 or 5 catches in the preseason game. Then he says, hey, we've noticed you've been playing well. You've been working hard. We got an idea. Want to move you to wide receiver. We really think you can make this team as a wide receiver. I go, heck, it's better than outside linebacker. So I end up moving to wide receiver. I start losing weight. They tell me they're going to keep me. I'm losing weight so I could run a little faster. It's hard to play wide receiver. I'm playing behind DeSean, Macklin, Avant, Riley Cooper, and I end up getting released anyways, final cuts. So I thought Chip could have handled that much better and released me and gave me a better opportunity to make the team as a tight end. Obviously, he had other thoughts, but since people were sharing their Chip Kelly stories, that is my Chip Kelly horror story.